Hey besties, first things first, I miss you all. It has been so long since I created an interview content. I don't even know if I know how to create one again, but of course that's not true. Your girl has been traveling, and if you've been watching my vlogs, you will know what I'm talking about. And if you've not been watching my vlogs, you are so wrong. After this video, watch a vlog. And whilst I was on vacation, a bestie asked about learning disability and autism support worker interview questions and answers. And I realized that, I've never actually made any video on that, and that's about to change now. So if you have an interview coming up and it's for LD and autism, this is the video for you. Question 1, we are going to have 10 questions, and you know how we do it. If you are new here, you're welcome. See, I've done a long intro already. By the way, I don't even do any long intro because you already know how we do it. But you're welcome, you're welcome. Question 1, tell me about yourself. We're not going to dwell much on this because I already have a comprehensive video on my channel dedicated to tell me about yourself question. I'm going to link that up here, and in case you cannot see it linked up, just go on my playlist, search for job interview playlist. You will see tell me about yourself right there, or on YouTube search for tell me about yourself Adathelegalpepper. I would pop up because that video is mwah. But for the sake of those that may not have watched it, I'll just give a brief summary. We use the what? PAR method. I'm sure all my besties that are OGs on this channel would know the PAR method. Now, in any interview, once you hear tell me about yourself, you think of PAR. I coined it too. It stands for professional summary, achievement, relevant skills, and reason for applying. Now remember, this job interview is not just anyone, it is for LD and autism. By the way, please, in case you've not watched the video on tell me about yourself question, this PAR is what will be going on in your mind. It's not that you will say PAR. Of course, I know no one will do that, but let me just say, so when they ask you to tell them about yourself, mentally, you already know the PAR method. So you will start and you talk about your professional summary in line with the job, which is that of a learning disability and autism support worker. You would say something like, I'm a dedicated and compassionate support worker with over 3 years experience in learning disabilities and autism. I've worked across both residential and support living arrangements, helping individuals build confidence, independence, and social inclusion. So that is my professional summary. Then for my achievements, I would say one of my proudest moments was supporting an individual that had autism and struggled to mingle with the community. With consistent encouragement, I was able to motivate him to participate in activities, and within a few months, he was independently joining in activities. And this enunciates the fact that with good patient communication and person-centered care, a lot can change when supporting people with learning disabilities and autism. Now, the next part will be about your relevant skills. Talk about your skills that pertain to the job. I will say something like, I'm skilled in using person-centered approaches and effectively communicating with individuals with learning disabilities and autism. I'm vast in PECs. Don't worry, I'll talk to you about what PECs is. Don't worry. But just act like you know. I'm versed in PECs, marketing, and other communication tools for people with learning disability and autism. The last bit will now be reason for applying. If you watch my video, you will know that I said for reason for applying, focus on their core values and your own core values. That's the easiest way to answer reason for applying. Now, when you've read their job description or you've looked at their website, they have some core values. Say something like, I was motivated to apply for this job because your core values of diversity and equality, inclusion aligns with my own personal values. And also on a personal level, I've supported my brother that had autism, and it taught me that dash. Can you see? And this just perfectly answers the question. Now, by the way, for all these questions that I will give you, I have my own answers to these questions in a documented form. If you want to have a copy, then I encourage you to join my email list. I'll put up the link in the description. Just click the link, you join my email list, and I will send things like that after videos like this. So that perfectly answers the question. Now, of course, apply it to your own situation. It just depends on you, but follow the PAR method. It enables you to talk extensively about why you're applying for the job in a way that they would know that this person knows what they're doing. So that's it. Now, the second question, what do you understand by person-centered care? Now, this is the rationale behind that question. When you're supporting people with LD, By the way, LD is learning disability, but of course, if you are going for the job, you already know this now. But when you're supporting people with LD and autism, by the way, autism is autism spectrum disorder, ASD. You will know that they do not all act the same. The same way, let's assume you don't have a disability, I don't have a disability. We do not act the same way. In fact, you see twins with different character, and that's how life should be. Now, the fact that someone has LD and autism does not mean they will be all the same. They want to judge if you understand that you're supposed to support them in a person-centered way. Person-centered in layman terms means you support A like A, B like B. Not that because A likes this, you now go and give B what A likes. Do you understand? I hope you do. If I'm answering this question, I would say something like person-centered care means seeing the person first, not their condition or diagnosis, as it is an empowering way to support individuals. And this enables me focus on what is important to them in terms of their routines, their priorities, as opposed to what is important to me as the staff. For instance, please always give examples. Don't just say you don't. Give examples. Now, if you don't have any experience, I'll talk about you towards the end of this video. Let's focus. Now, for instance, I supported a person that had autism, but who also loved gardening. While supporting his interest in gardening, I noticed a significant improvement in his mood and general well-being, and I encourage that. For me, being person-centered also means communicating, not just assuming. I always involve the people I support in decision making, regardless of if that means it takes extra time or they need more communication support. When you answer like that, they know you know what you're saying. All right, my love. So question 3. How would you support someone with autism that struggles with change? This one, they are testing your understanding of autistic individuals, because a lot of people that are autistic, they thrive on routines. They don't like change. Of course, as I said, there are really no blanket rules. There are people that can be exceptions to the rule, but for the most part, people with autism, they like structure, routine. So they want to understand your level of patience, because the fact that they like structure does not mean everything would have to be structured. There are times things will change depending on situations. So I'll say something like, when I'm supporting an autistic individual, I will start first by learning what triggers them and what makes them feel safe, because I understand that change can feel overwhelming. Where possible, I would ensure that whatever change that is being implemented is done in small practicable steps, as opposed to something that would overwhelm the person. For instance, I once supported an individual who had anxiety around any change, as little as a different support worker coming in or even a change in his meal timetable. I supported him by giving him reminders ahead of time so he will not be surprised by such changes, and I ensured that each change we implemented were proportionate and were as practicable as possible. By the way, whatever you are saying, let's assume that it was not just you that made the decision. Maybe it was you and the rest of your team. Please don't say we ensured in your interview. It's I, you yourself and yours. I. Okay. So with that individual, over time, I realized that constantly communicating with him and reassuring him helped him ease his anxiety and helped us build that good relationship that he ended up trusting me even with bigger decisions or changes. That's what I would answer. Now, if you're enjoying this video, besties, I want you to click a like, and of course, if you're not subscribed by Number 4, how do you balance promoting independence with keeping people safe? This is a very important question, especially for LD and autism, because the fact that you want to keep them safe does not mean they're in prison. So you have to show that you understand that you would not restrict them, but you would ensure they are being safeguarded or protected. So you would take proportionate risk. You not taking any risk at all is a risk. So you would still encourage them. It's called positive risk taking. You encourage them to participate in whatever decisions, but you still be mindful because you are the professional. I will say something like, when I'm supporting individuals with LD and autism, I understand that it's about me supporting them and not controlling or taking over their lives. So when they have tasks, I always think about if it's something that I can just supervise as opposed to taking over, because empowering and encouraging their independence is a strength-based practice that helps them build more confidence. For instance, one of the individuals I supported had mild coordination issues, but they wanted to learn how to make breakfast. Now, instead of doing it for them, I guided them step by step, telling them the instructions, reassuring them, and keeping items within reach. Now, even though it took longer for them to make their breakfast, it helped them in terms of their confidence, and it's those small victories that empower them and promotes their dignity. I always balance risk by assessing what can go wrong and putting measures in place to ensure that they are protected but still independent as much as they safely can. Now, by the way, I mentioned that we are going to talk about 10 interview questions and answers, but I just realized that this video will go on and on and on. This video will be longer than I planned for it to be, so we are going to stop at 5. And if you want a part 2, just comment part 2 and I will definitely create a part 2 for you. And the 5th question is, what would you do if you suspected abuse or neglect while supporting an individual with LD or autism? That is obviously a safeguarding question. See, when you're supporting anybody, in fact, any care job, think of safeguarding. They may ask this question in another way, but they would definitely ask you about safeguarding. There are no two ways about it, because you are dealing with vulnerable people. Now, before I even tell you about my answers with these questions, if you want extensive interview questions and answers for care work, support work, or any job in the healthcare industry, see, my ebook guide on interview is a bestseller for a reason. I have over 50 interview questions and answers. Some people, when it comes to investing in their own future, something that will give you a leverage amongst other interview applicants, is always a problem. See, don't let that be you. If you want extensive questions, just go and click the link in the description box, buy the ebook guide, and see, you have access to it for life, and it's going to help you. So now, to this question, I will say something like, safeguarding is everyone's responsibility, so I understand how pivotal it is to my work. If I suspected abuse or neglect, I would stay calm, ensure the person is safe, and straight away report to my line manager or safeguarding lead. I'll repeat this sentence again. If I suspected abuse or neglect, I will stay calm, ensure the person is safe, and report straight away to my line manager or my safeguarding lead. I would record only the facts, what I saw, what was said, without making any assumptions. I would reassure the individual that they did the right thing by speaking up to me, but I would not promise confidentiality, because if you're conversant with confidentiality policy, you know that once there is safeguarding, there's nothing like confidentiality. You know someone is being abused or neglected, you now say, oh, can't keep quiet. So if not, you'll be in big trouble. Safeguarding is everyone's responsibility, and I ensure to do my job well in that regard, because vulnerable individuals rely on us professionals to keep them safe. Now, you can give examples from your practice. There are different examples relating to abuse or neglect. It can range from physical, verbal, emotional, sexual, even self-neglect, acts of omission. There are various kinds of abuse and neglect that you can use as examples. Now, let's assume you do not have experience. If you are an OG on this channel, you will know that I say that if you have experience. You may not have had support worker experience, but in your home country, you must have had informal work experience. So if you had a cousin that's autistic, or a sister, or a mom, or you've supported someone, now is the way you can couch it. In how eloquent you are, that will determine whether or not you'll be able to articulate your experiences. Now, even though I would be ending the video here in terms of the interview questions, I want to say some other things about autism and learning disability. They could ask you, oh, I'm already saying something else again. But let's just go on. They could ask you, what's the difference between learning disability and learning difficulty? My dear, it's not the same thing. No, a learning disability is a disability. A difficulty is a difficulty. A learning disability is a diagnosed condition that affects intellectual functioning and adaptive behavior. Things like Down syndrome, Fragile X syndrome, those are learning disabilities. But learning difficulties are specific challenges with learning that does not even affect your overall intelligence. So it does not affect your intellectual or adaptive functioning. You can even have a high IQ and you have a learning difficulty. Things like dyslexia. You see some people, they struggle with reading something that is very simple. In fact, especially back home in Nigeria, you will see some people that they struggle with reading. People will think that they are olodo, meaning they don't have anything upstairs. But sometimes that person could just have dyslexia. Another example is dyscalculia, which is a difficulty in terms of mathematics. Another example is dyspraxia, which is a coordination difficulty. Those are not learning disabilities. Now, in a support worker interview, they may not even ask you the difference between a difficulty or disability, but I'm just telling you just in case, because the last thing I want for you that watch my channel is for you to go for an interview and you don't know what, like they're asking you a question, you don't even have knowledge at all. It's not good. That's why I'm telling you about this. And that thing is, they may ask you, what is PECS? You are going for LD or autism interview and you're like, PECS, what's that? PECS is Picture Exchange Communication System. So it's a communication tool where they use pictures for people that are non-verbal. It's good for you to know that. Now, they could also ask you if you know about marketing. Now, marketing is a language program that helps people communicate and learn. It uses simple gestures, usually in line with the British Sign Language (BSL), to communicate words and concepts to people. You knowing all these little things like this in an interview for learning disability and autism will help you. So even when they're not even asking you, you can put it in. Go and make more research about it, learn about it. Of course, if you have job experience in this field, you will know what I'm talking about. So you can just give examples. It differentiates you. Then in cases where they will not ask you directly, you will know what you're saying. I hope this has helped you. I'll be linking up a video on common NHS interview questions and answers. I don't even know what part I'm on because I've released a lot of videos on it, but I'll link it up for you to watch in case you've not done so already. And of course, if you want a part 2 of this video, let me know. As I said, go get the ebook, and I'm going to see you, my loves, in the next one. And until then, stay blessed, remain happy, and bye.